big picture, I mean, I think the way we tend to think about it in terms of quarterly growth. So 3 months, the first 3 months of the year, the second 3 months of the year, and so on and so forth. Have we changed our view of what we think will happen in the second quarter of the year? The answer is no. And that is for a couple of reasons. The main one is that monthly GDP it's volatile, but it also gets revised. And if you look at the past path of revisions and you take account of what we've had today, and as you say, there was a miss relative to our forecast, but the net effect of all of those things actually is to leave the economy, at least relative to our forecast, in a similar spot. Now, one thing I would add to that is that the Bank of England is thinking that the economy would grow by 0.3% in the second quarter. That's what it said in its June minutes. So there is a bit of a gap on that expectation, but we think relative to our expectation of a growth of 0.1 on the quarter, we think we're still in the same place. And the big part of the picture is that this is obviously a huge slowdown relative to what happened in the first quarter. We had 0.7% growth, and this is about activity being displaced. So we had sort of a lot of activity in the first quarter of the year in anticipation of tariffs, and now we're seeing the effect of tariffs coming through. So I think if you're going to take it in the round, you'd probably want to average the two numbers to get a sense of where the underlying growth rate of the economy is.
Because there was such a hit and so much uncertainty around tariffs. I suppose Britain is struggling with low economic growth and low productivity. Are we in a lost decade? How do we turn that around? And that's the big question, isn't it, for the Starmer government? Are we in this kind of underperformance? Do we stay there?
So our view is that the recent history of UK economic performance, and I think I'm going back further than the pandemic, because obviously you can't take that and the energy crisis, and we've had this big rise in interest rates. But if you go back, if you think of the period from 2010 onwards, and if you compare that to, say, the previous decade, sort of 97 to 2007, there has been this massive step down in growth. And I think if you're thinking about what is the best guess for where things go from here, it's the more recent period of time that is a better gauge. Now, is that a lost decade? I'd probably say that's probably slightly strong, but we're in a world where growth is much weaker, and you're absolutely right to focus on productivity growth. That is the thing that has been lacking and has changed since the financial crisis. It's not a new phenomenon. Thinking about what the government can do and how things have changed, I think it has done some things that are good around planning reform, around boosting investment, public investment. The challenge with all of this is these things take time to come through and impact. And in the meantime, it feels like every year we get a new near-term shock, if you like. And that feels like it's been the case since Brexit. So you had Brexit and the speculation around that, then the pandemic, the energy crisis, you had the rise in interest rates, now we've got tariffs. And the real challenge is moving from the near term and having sort of a solid base where sentiment is solid. That gives you the base to move forward. But we just keep getting knocked back with these various shocks. As I say, I think the government should be given some credit for the policies it's put in place. It's just being hit back by these near-term economic shocks, and the previous government had the same challenge.